Several polls indicate that Trump's popularity has actually gone down significantly since Election Day. And as a result, Trump believes that all of these polls, every single one of them, is rigged. Now, to give you some information about them, okay, there was a CNN ORC poll and also a Washington Post ABC poll. Both polls show that Trump's approval rating sits at approximately 40% and that Americans have not been particularly impressed with the mogul's transition efforts. So there was also another poll, by the way, that was done by Quinnipiac.
Oh, sorry, Quinnipiac.
Yeah,
right.
Quinnipiac. And they actually found that his number is around 37%.
So I want to give context here because it's so important. You might be thinking, well, is that normal, 37% for an incoming president? You know, it was a really contentious election. No, it's not remotely normal. For example, Republicans will tell you, and a lot of times the media backs it up, Obama was a divisive president. Charles Krauthammer on Fox News just yesterday is talking about, he didn't reach out to Republicans enough. That's why the country doesn't like him. Wrong, Bob. Although his name's not Bob. Okay. Sorry, Charlie. Obama's approval rating is 55% in that same Quinnipiac poll. So he is 18% more popular than Donald Trump.
Which is interesting.
It's fascinating. I've never seen anything like this.
Yes. Now,
and then let me jump to the other context, which is graphic 8, and then we'll give you Trump's reaction. President Obama had an 84% approval rating when he took office. That is stunning. That is gigantic. That is more than double Trump's approval rating right now.
Right.
But even Bush, remember how contentious his election was. That was also one where he lost the popular vote. But he had 61% approval rating. Clinton 67. So being this low, 37 to 40%, unprecedented.
Yes.
He has no idea how unpopular he is.
So if you look, let's go back to that graphic again, because it's the difference is stark, right? Because even if you compare Obama to Bill Clinton, there's a huge difference there. Two Democrats, there's a huge difference. But what was it about Obama that set him apart in the 2008 election? What was he preaching endlessly as he was campaigning? Progressive policies. And people were so ready for those progressive policies. I think that's the reason why you saw so much popularity among a candidate like Bernie Sanders during this past election. And so, interestingly enough, we see most of our politicians, both Democrats and Republicans, moving more and more to the right. And even their conservative rhetoric, it does not bode well with the American people. The approval ratings show that. So
I've got to add one more thing to that. The other thing that Obama ran on was change.
Yeah.
That was his whole campaign theme. So he was anti-establishment and progressive. That is, according to the polling, ideal. Now, Hillary Clinton ran as pro-establishment and theoretically progressive, right? And being pro-establishment, terrible idea. It allowed Trump to win, even though he has, and let's give him the benefit of the doubt, a 40% approval rating. And just, I can't get over how low that is. And so one final piece of context is, that is usually for a president as high as they get. Like Obama didn't get 84% of the vote. It's just that what happens is after the president-elect wins, the whole country, because we're open-minded and I think generally wonderful people, goes, give the guy a chance.
Yeah.
Right? And even if I didn't vote for him, give the guy a chance. They said that for Bush and Clinton and on Trump. They're like, no, we know the guy. And much of a chance to give. And so he's peaked at 40%. Meanwhile, he's going around like a peacock, right?
Yes.
Strutting around like, oh, I won! I'm a winner! We're winning again!
Well,
and he thinks he's above the law.
No, he does think he's above the law. But when he's going around peacocking, right, it's important to understand that most people who are secure in their popularity or secure about themselves overall don't go around talking about how great they are, right? He is the most insecure man imaginable, and I think it's because he knows the truth. He knows that Hillary Clinton won with the popular vote by millions, and he also knows that, look, these ratings, these approval ratings don't look good for him. And so he's a man who's obsessed with winning. He's a man who had some serious daddy issues. He always wanted to impress his dad, and his dad was always very critical of him. And so this is so painful for him. And by the way, we haven't even gotten to the best part, his tweets regarding this situation. He had tweeted in regard to these polls, the same people who did the phony election polls and were so wrong are now doing approval rating polls they are rigged just like before.
Okay, you're so sad. Sad baby.
Yeah.
Like, you really think they bothered to rig polling? After you won the election, what difference would it make? You're going to be president. Nobody's disputing that. And you think that Quinnipiac and Gallup and all these people got together, they're like, all right, guys, how do we launch a completely irrelevant conspiracy? And then they bothered to ruin their entire reputations.
Yeah.
Now, you can say, hey, look, they were wrong around the edges, and that's a fair point. But they're not wrong overall, and they certainly didn't rig it. Do you see what I'm saying? When I say wrong overall, it wasn't like Obama's at 84 and you're at 40. Oops, they meant you're at 84 and Obama's at 40. No, maybe you're at 45, maybe you're at 35. But you're in that ballpark. And in the election results, the national election, the popular vote came in fairly close to what the pollsters predicted. State by state, they were a little wrong, but they're wrong on the margins. They're not wrong like, no, you're actually a popular guy. You're not anywhere near popular.
Yeah. So that happened. And also, one final tweet about this situation. He said, people are pouring into Washington in record numbers. Bikers for Trump are on their way. Weird, okay. It will be a great Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Bikers for Trump. It's just weird that that's the demographic that he wanted to mention in this tweet. Anyway, again, I think people who are secure about themselves don't constantly talk about how great they are and how much people love them, right?
It'll be a great inauguration.
Wrong.
Okay, although the Bikers for Trump will be yelling,
Sarabies!
and when Trump looked at the poll numbers, he thought,
Oops.
this is
All right.
a situation like we've never seen in America before. The incoming president is grotesquely unpopular. So if that's his peak, oh boy, what's going to be his bottom?
We're about to see.
Let's find out Trump's bottom. Become a member of the Young Turks.
I think it's weird.
No, it's not. Afterwards, you'll think,
You know, I'm like a smart person.
TUITnetwork.com/join.